For the 7th consecutive year, the Carolina Hurricanes have made the playoffs. Still searching for their first Stanley Cup in 19 years, the Canes want to make the most of this opportunity, though they head into the playoffs with less than expectations after last year's all-in push that ended in a second-round exit to the New York Rangers in 6 games. What followed that playoff exit was one of the biggest cap crunches in their franchise history and the resignation of general manager and team president Don Waddell. Despite losing Jake Guentzel, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Stefan Noesen, and Teuvo Teravainen in the offseason to free agency, they were able to stay as one of the best teams in the NHL, at least regular season-wise, and being able to stay a perennial contender. Rod Brind'Amour's teams take on a defense-first approach and emphasize that end of the ice, generating their offense by means of takeaways and shutting off any of the opposition's goal-scoring chances. He also became the fastest coach to 300 wins in NHL history, doing it in 488 games, 8 games faster than Bruce Boudreau. The core faces remain the same: Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, Jacob Slavin, and Seth Jarvis. All 4 of them embrace the identity of this team, showcasing their two-way play all around. The chemistry between Aho and Jarvis has been one the Canes loved since the moment they were put together as line mates when Jarvis first stepped into the league, with both of them being all situations players. Even strength, power play, and penalty kill. Svechnikov's point-producing pace has slowed down this season, but is still a key face on the offensive end as a punisher when throwing the body around the forecheck. Slavin remains the best defensive defenseman in the league, and continues to show that this season, being amongst the elite of the elite on disrupting opposing offensive plays. Slavin is the key face of the foundation of this team, which is the defense. He and Brent Burns have formed a solid pairing next to one another, though this season could likely be Burns' last. Even though he made a great first impression at Carolina with a 61-point season in 2023, he has steadily declined over time, and this season, at age 40, was his lowest scoring output since the COVID-shortened 2021 season. Although Carolina lost Shea and Pesce to free agency, this gives more minutes to Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield, who make one of the better defensive-minded second pairings in the NHL. Sean Walker is coming off a breakout season split between the Philadelphia Flyers and Colorado Avalanche with much improved, though his first season with Carolina has seen mixed results, but given that Burns is on the final year of his contract, Walker could be next in line for making the jump to the top pairing next season after being one of the best rental defensemen available at last year's trade deadline. Plus, the Canes just recently signed prospect Alexander Nikishin, who stood out as a top defensive defenseman overseas in Russia. While he could use improvement on his footwork, the Canes could use his skill set, where he can blast a shot from the blue line and deliver a massive hit. There is also a plethora of forwards who are either two-way forwards or are defensive-minded forwards heavily involved on the forecheck. Aside from Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov, Jordan Staal and Jordan Martinook have found success playing on the third line, and are mainstays on that line that can wear opponents down. The fourth line has also been solidified between Eric Robinson, who is enjoying a breakout season, besting previous career highs across the board, Jack Roslovic, a low-cost offseason addition with decent offensive production, and Mark Jankowski, who was acquired at the trade deadline for penalty-killing purposes and to give another tall body, but surprisingly found the back of the net more in his time in Carolina than in Nashville this year. If something happens to any of them, William Carrier is a solid reinforcement, adding a physical option and Stanley Cup experience from his time as an original Golden Misfit. There's a clear balance between the top 6 and the bottom 6 on the forecourt for the Canes. While the bottom 6 focuses on defense, the top 6 focuses on offense. And while Martin Necas is not on the team anymore, Logan Stankoven is a natural fit on the top 6, whether he be on the top line or the second line. A former top prospect on the Dallas Stars, he broke into the scene last season and is likely going to continue finding his stride in Carolina after being one of the main centerpieces in the second Mikko Rantanen trade. That trade has freed up the team to maneuver space and allow their players to play in their roles. The second line is all offensive options, with their mainstay being Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who has been decent as a second line center after being a revelation his first year in Raleigh after he accepted an offer sheet. Jackson Blake broke into the scene as a 21-year-old rookie and has put up double-digit goals in his first year professionally after he played for the University of North Dakota. Taylor Hall was the other player acquired in the original Rantanen trade, but after Rantanen was dealt away, Hall has started to heat up and fill the goal sheet. While he doesn't need to turn back the clock to 2018 MVP form, he's been solid as a second-line option on contending teams. Last week, Shane Gostisbehere helps out the power play as their primary quarterback and has risen up as the team's top offensive defenseman. Special teams for Carolina have been a mixed bag. On one side is the best penalty kill in the league, shutting down opponents' power plays like it's nobody's business and clocking in at nearly an 85% penalty kill rate. On the other is a power play that's consistently gotten worse since the turn of the new year, leading to a slow spiral towards the bottom half of the league at that department. When they acquired Rantanen, the hope was that was going to fix the man advantage unit. But it didn't, and it needs to turn around the playoffs, even with Stankoven in the mode now. Goaltending has also been a mixed bag, and while they've shown some solid moments, this group in general has been inconsistent. Freddie Anderson, for as good as he is, has had an injury-riddled season, and there's no knowing how he'd perform if he were to be named the starting goaltender in the playoffs. Last postseason, he was like a box of chocolates. You never know which version of him you're going to get. Garrett Kochetkov is viewed as the goaltender of the future originally for Carolina, but this season has been a down year for him compared to his last 2 years. He has only played 6 playoff games, starting 2, but in a short sample size, his stats do not look good. Whoever is named the starting goalie will be helped out by the defense in front of him, but they need to pick up the slack. It's one thing to make the playoffs, but it's another to make a run for the Stanley Cup. The Hurricanes know this well, and who knows how many more chances they will get. The harsh reality of playoff windows is that they are short-lived, and while they've made the playoffs for 7 straight years, the furthest they've gone in this playoff appearance streak is an Eastern Conference Finals sweep. Will this time be the time they can make it to the finals, or will it be another year of heartbreak? Will the lessened expectations ease the burden off of them? The answer to that will only come through these next 2 months.